Hi everyone, my name is Matt and I'm the youth and family pastor at Cornerstone Church in Marshfield. I'm here today with your Cornerstone Connection, a daily devotional. Well friends, as we make our way through the Old Testament, and currently we're in the book of Deuteronomy, we're also in the Psalms, it can be easy, especially in these books like Deuteronomy, to just hear law after law after law, and all we think is rules, 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 and that God is up there just waiting to punish us. And one of the things I think we can find, if we slow down a little bit as we read books like Deuteronomy, is that as God is giving his law to his people, if we slow down, I think we see the heart of God. And I think we see his heart for certain groups of people. And to me, that certainly is the case in today's reading. Today we're in Deuteronomy chapter 24. And I'm going to highlight three different sections where I believe we see God's heart for certain people and for certain things. Okay, in Deuteronomy chapter 24, when you begin there, God outlines what is appropriate in the cases of divorce and how that should be carried out and what should happen after a divorce takes place and what that means for the people involved. But then it gets to verse 5. We get to verse 5 in chapter 24. And I believe we see God's heart for the family. After he's outlined the regulations for divorce and all the results of it, the consequences of it, then in verse 5, we really see God's heart for the family come out. Check this out in verse 5. It says, if a man has recently married, he must not be sent to war or have any other duty laid on him. For 1 year he is to be free to stay at home and bring happiness to the wife he has married. What a great verse. And what a great idea. What a great quote-unquote policy. Hey men, if you're men of war, you're going to stay home for that first year of marriage. You're going to get to know your wife. You're going to invest in that next important relationship. Your most important relationship is your relationship with God, but your most important earthly relationship, if God gives it to you, is your marriage and your relationship with your wife, so that the previous 4 verses don't happen, so we don't have to deal with the divorce and all the consequences of it. We see God's heart for the family. This is the opportunity for the man and the woman, the husband and the wife, to start their marriage off strong, to build a foundation for their family that built on a relationship with God and built on a strong relationship with one another, and also beginning the bearing of children and beginning to multiply that godly legacy. So we see God's heart for the family. And then we jump to verses 14 to 15. And it says, do not take advantage of a hired man who is poor and needy, whether he is a brother Israelite or an alien living in one of your towns. Pay him his wages each day before sunset, because he is poor and is counting on it. Otherwise, he may cry to the Lord against you, and you will be guilty of sin. Again, this is pretty obvious in this section, but I believe in these 2 verses we see God's heart for the poor, for the down and outs, those who are needy, those who are struggling just to get by. And God is saying, if one of these comes to you and you hire them, pay them what they earned. Pay them their wages so that they don't become a burden to you. And also on top of that, so you're not sinning. And on top of that, their needs are met. And they can get back up on their feet, and perhaps they're not poor and needy anymore. So we see God's heart for the family. We see God's heart for the poor. And then lastly, verses 19 to 22. When you are harvesting in your field and you overlook a sheaf, do not go back to get it. Leave it for the alien, the fatherless, and the widow, so that the Lord your God may bless you in all the work of your hands. When you beat the olives from your trees, do not go over the branches a second time. Leave what remains for the alien, the fatherless, and the widow. When you harvest the grapes in your vineyard, do not go over the vines again. Leave what remains for the alien, the fatherless, and the widow. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt. That is why I command you to do this. And so in these verses, I believe we see God's heart for the disadvantaged. We see God's heart for those who are without. He mentions the alien, the sojourner in some versions of the Bible, those who are without home. They are travelers. They are trying to make their way. They're trying to find somewhere to settle. He brings up the fatherless, those who are without their father. They're orphans. They're in need of that parental person in their life. And then the widow, of course, those who have lost their husband. those who are without their husband, that male spouse. And so we see God's heart for those who are without and those who are disadvantaged, that the Israelites who have what they need, that they shouldn't go and gather more just to gather more, but leave it for those who are without, so that God can provide for their needs as well. Friends, God's word shows his heart. And even in the texts that seem like it's just rules and regulations and that God's just waiting there to give us consequences, we truly see his heart rise to the surface if we would just slow down and allow his law to show that he actually loves us, and he loves the family, and he loves the poor, and he loves those who are disadvantaged. He loves all of us, and he's for all of us. And that's good news for all of us. Have a great day, friends. We'll see you next time on the Cornerstone Connection.